Admiral Sexthalammer's 4 eyes watched the view screen with satisfaction. His massive insectoid frame filled the command chair as he observed the Zenthari fleet formation outside the Century Nexus Station. 200 crystalline dreadnoughts floated in perfect rows there, plasma cannons gleaming like jewels in the starlight. Beautiful, isn't it? He clicked to his second in command through his mandibles. 5,000 years of military tradition on display. The Zenthari had ruled half the galaxy for millennia. Their crystal ships could slice through enemy hulls with focused plasma beams. Their armor could withstand the heat of a star. No force had ever broken their battle lines. On the other side of the massive space station, Fleet Commander Yura Velton floated in her water-filled command sphere. Her blue-called skin rippled with pride as she watched her own fleet maneuver. The Meridai biohips looked alive because they were grown rather than built. Each vessel could heal damage and adapt to enemy weapons. During battle, our children are ready, she whispered to her aide through the comm system. Her voice carried the musical quality of her aquatic species. 300 living ships, each one eager to protect the collective. The Meridai had survived for 4,000 years by learning from every conflict. Their ships evolved, their tactics grew stronger. With each battle, they had never met an enemy they couldn't adapt to defeat. Both admirals had come to the Century Nexus for the same reason. The humans were becoming a problem. These newcomers had appeared in galactic politics only 2 centuries ago. They came from a small blue world in an unremarkable system. Their technology seemed primitive. Their ships looked simple and crude, but somehow they kept expanding their territory. The Zenthari and Meridai had decided to work together. Today's meeting would end the human problem before it grew larger. They would divide human space between them. The primitive species would learn their place in the galaxy. Admiral, his communications officer buzzed. The human delegation is arriving. Sex turned all 4 eyes toward the view screen. He expected to see a small escort of basic ships. A single vessel approached the station. It was angular and gray, built from simple metal plates, no elegant curves. Like Zenthari crystal ships, no organic flowing lines like Meridi bio vessels. Just flat surfaces welded together. Basic geometric shape, that's it. Sex clicked in amusement. One ship. His tactical officer scanned the approaching vessel. Confirmed. Admiral, 1 ship, length approximately 800 m, basic metal construction. Primitive fusion drive, weak energy shields across the system. Yura was having a similar conversation with her crew. The humans send 1 ship to face our combined fleets, she asked her scaled head tilting in confusion. Do they not understand the situation? Her sensor operator's gills fluttered nervously. Commander, our scans show standard human technology, nothing we haven't seen before. The ship appears to be called the UFS Perseverance. A smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Perseverance. How fitting, they will need it. The human ship docked at the station without ceremony. No grand displays of power, no formation. Flying, just a simple approach and connection to the docking port. Admiral Sex and Fleet Commander Yura met in the station's main conference room. The chamber was designed for diplomatic meetings between different species. The air was breathable for most galactic races. The gravity was set to a Comfortable medium level, they waited. Together confident in their superiority through the massive windows they could see their combined fleets, over 500 warships representing thousands of years of military development. The door opened and 3 humans entered. General M. John Blackstone led the group. He was older with gray hair and calm eyes. His uniform was simple dark blue fabric with metal insignia. Nothing fancy or impressive. Behind him walked Colonel Sarah Park and Captain Lee Sujan, both looking professional but unremarkable. Admiral Thalamer Fleet Commander Velton, Blackstone said with a slight bow. Sex studied the human general with his compound eyes. No ceremonial armor, no display of wealth or power, just a simple soldier in a basic uniform. General Blackstone, Sex clicked. Formally, we hope this discussion will be productive. They took their seats. Around the conference table, the aliens on one side, the humans on the other. Through the windows, the vast fleets waited in space. Let us speak plainly, Yura said, her voice bubbling slightly. Through the translation system, humanity has expanded beyond its natural borders. This expansion must stop. Blackstone nodded slowly. We're willing to discuss territorial boundaries, but we won't accept limits that trap our people in a small corner of space. Sex's mandibles clicked with amusement. Your people, General, look outside. We have brought 500 ships representing the finest military traditions in the galaxy. You brought one crude vessel. What makes you think you can negotiate? From a position of strength, our ship might look simple, Captain Park said quietly, but appearances can be misleading. Yura's gills fluttered with what might have been laughter. Misleading, child. Our sensors have analyzed your vessel completely. Basic metal construction, primitive weapons, weak defenses. There are no secrets hidden in your simple design, General. Blackstone remained calm. His weathered face showed no emotion as the aliens dismissed human capabilities. You're right about one thing, he said finally. We are a young species. We've only been among the stars for 2 centuries, but we've learned a great deal in that time. Learned from your betters, perhaps. Sex clicked dismissively, but learning and mastering are different things. The Zinthari have perfected warfare over 5 millennia. The Meridai have adapted to every challenge for 4,000 years. What could a species of children teach us? Blackstone looked out at the alien fleets filling space around the station. Hundreds of advanced warships from 2 of the galaxy's greatest military powers. Then he looked back at his hosts. We've learned that the biggest mistake in warfare is underestimating your enemy, he said softly. The aliens exchanged glances. They saw no threat in this old human and his simple words. Outside, their mighty fleets dominated the star system. Inside, 3 humans sat alone and seemingly helpless. Neither Sex nor you realized that their greatest lesson in humility was about to begin. Negotiations continued for 3 hours, but they weren't really negotiations. They were demands. Admiral Sex spread a holographic star map across the conference table. Red zones marked Zenthuri space. Blue areas showed Mardai territory. A tiny green section indicated human space. This is our proposal, Sex clicked, pointing with one of his sharp appendages. Humanity will withdraw from these 17 systems. The Zenthari will claim 9. The Murdai will take 8. General Blackstone studied the map. Carefully, the proposed borders would cut human space in half, millions of human colonists would be displaced. These systems have been peacefully settled by human families for decades. He said, we have farming colonies, research stations, and industrial centers. You're asking us to abandon our people? Fleet Commander Yura Scales shimmered with amusement. Your people can relocate. Consider it a learning experience about the realities of galactic power. Colonel Park leaned forward. And if we refuse, Sex's four eyes focused on her with predatory intensity, then you will learn why the Zinthari Empire has never lost a war. Through the conference room windows, the alien fleets hung in space like a demonstration of overwhelming force. Zinthari crystal ships caught the starlight and reflected it in rainbow patterns. Meridi bio vessels pulsed with organic life. Let me understand this correctly, Captain Lee said. Slowly, you're threatening war against Earth and all human colonies because we won't surrender our territory voluntarily. Yura's musical voice carried a note of condescension, not threatening. Young one, explaining reality. Your species is new to the galaxy. You don't understand how things work here. Then educate us, Blackstone said with dangerous calm. Sex clicked his mandibles together in what his species considered laughter. Very well, a history lesson for the children. He activated new displays on the holographic projector. Images of ancient battles filled the air. Between them, 5,000 years ago, the Zinthari faced the hegemony of Krell. They had twice our numbers and superior technology, but they made the mistake of challenging us to open battle. The display showed massive crystal ships tearing through enemy formations. We destroyed them completely. Their civilization is now a footnote in galactic history. More images appeared. Different battles, different enemies, all ending in Zinthari victory. The Fourth Empire thought their energy shields made them invincible. The Top Federation believed their speed gave them an advantage. The binary collective trusted in their artificial intelligence networks. Sex's eyes glittered as he watched explosions and destruction on the display. All of them learned the same lesson. Zinthari plasma weapons can cut through any defense. Yura activated her own presentation. The Meridi have a different approach to warfare, she said, her voice carrying pride. We adapt. The hologram showed biohips changing shape during battle. Ships that started as one configuration transformed completely to counter enemy tactics. The Nexus Federation thought they could defeat us with their quantum torpedoes, so our ships grew thicker armor and energy absorption organs. The hive minds tried to overwhelm us with swarm tactics. Our vessels learned to split into smaller units and fight as coordinated packs. Captain Park watched the displays with interest. Impressive. How long did these wars last? The Nexus Federation fell in 6 months, Yura replied. The hive minds lasted 2 years, but only because they kept building new ships faster than we could destroy them. Eventually our bio vessels learned to target their construction facilities directly, and now you're threatening the same fate for humanity, Blackstone said. Not threatening, Sex corrected, offering education. Learn from the experiences of your betters. Accept the natural order of galactic civilization. Colonel Park pulled up human exploration records on a small tablet. According to our surveys, Both of your species control territories that were previously inhabited by other civilizations. What happened to the original inhabitants? The question hung in the air. Both alien admirals went silent. They learned to serve their betters. Yura finally answered. Or they chose not to learn at all. Oh, I see. Blackstone's voice remained calm, but something cold entered his eyes. And you consider humanity ready for this same education? Sex gestured toward the window. General, your entire fleet consists of one primitive vessel. We have brought 500 ships representing the pinnacle of galactic military technology. Your options are simple. Accept our generous territorial adjustments or face the consequences of defying two of the galaxy's greatest powers. Generous, Captain Lee asked. You're demanding we abandon half our colonies. You're keeping the other half, you pointed out. Under our protection, of course. Your people will learn to appreciate the benefits of proper guidance. Blackstone stood and walked to the window. The UFS Perseverance looked tiny compared to the alien dreadnoughts surrounding it, a single human ship facing hundreds of enemy vessels. You mentioned that our ship looks primitive, he said without turning around. Because it is. Sex clicked confidently. Our sensors have analyzed every component. Basic fusion drive, simple metal hull, outdated weapon systems. Your engineers show promise, but they're centuries behind our technology. The design is certainly simple, Yura agreed. Functional but crude, like most human engineering we've observed. Blackstone nodded slowly. You're absolutely right. It does look simple. He turned back to face the aliens. Something in his expression made both admirals pay closer attention. There's something you should know about human engineering, he said quietly. We've learned that the most dangerous weapons often look harmless. Colonel Park checked her chronometer. General, we've been here almost 4 hours. Shouldn't we check in with the fleet? You mean your ship? Sex corrected with amusement. Yes, Blackstone said. Our ship. He activated his communicator. General Blackstone to UFS Perseverance. Status report. All systems nominal. General, came the reply. Standing by for your orders. Very good. Please inform Admiral Chen that we may need to implement Protocol 7. There was a brief pause. Understood, General. Admiral Chen sends her compliments and asks if you require immediate assistance. Not yet, but please have the fleet stand ready. Sex's mandibles clicked with confused amusement. Fleet, General, you have one ship. Blackstone looked directly at the alien. Admiral, do we? The simple question carried implications that both aliens found disturbing. They had conducted detailed sensor sweeps. They had verified that only one human vessel had arrived. Their technology was superior to anything humanity possessed. So why did General Blackstone sound so confident? Admiral Sex felt a chill run through his exoskeleton. General Blackstone's confidence didn't make sense. The sensor reports were clear. Only one human ship had arrived at the Century Nexus, found on Atlide. I'm Center, General. Sex clicked carefully. Our instruments have detected no other human vessels in this system. Are you suggesting our technology is flawed? Blackstone walked back to the conference table but remained standing. Your technology is excellent, some of the best we've ever encountered, but every system has weaknesses if you understand how it works. Fleet Commander Yura's gills fluttered. Nervously, explain what you mean. In a moment, Blackstone said. He opened a communication channel again. General Blackstone to all human vessels. You are cleared for Protocol 7. Repeat, Protocol 7 is authorized. Sex's 4 eyes darted between the human general and the view screen showing empty space. There are no other human vessels. Check your sensors again, Captain Park suggested quietly. Both alien commanders immediately contacted their respective fleets. Urgent reports came back within seconds. Admiral Sex's tactical officer buzzed over the comm. We're detecting energy distortions near the human ship. Something is interfering with our scans. ERA received a similar report. Commander, our biosensors are picking up massive gravitational anomalies. The space around the station is changing. Through the conference room windows they could see space beginning to shimmer like heat waves. The distortion spread outward from the UFS Perseverance in expanding rings. What are you doing? Yura demanded. Showing you something. Blackstone replied. Something we hoped we wouldn't need to reveal. The first ship materialized directly above the space station. It was enormous, larger than any vessel either alien species had ever built. The angular design was similar to the Perseverance, but scaled up to impossible proportions. Dark gray metal plates formed a hull that seemed to absorb light rather than reflected. Sex's mandibles clicked in shock. Where did that come from? We've been working on stealth technology, Colonel Park explained. Turns out humans are pretty good at hiding things. A second massive ship appeared to starboard of the station. Then a third, a fourth, each one materialized from apparent empty space as their cloaking systems deactivated. Impossible, Yura whispered. Our sensors would have detected them. Your sensors detect what they're designed to detect, Captain Lee said. Energy signatures, gravitational disturbances, electromagnetic emissions. But what if a ship produces none of those things? More human vessels continued appearing. Not just the massive dreadnoughts, but smaller ships too. Cruisers, destroyers, and frigates materialized in perfect formation around the space station. Admiral Sex counted frantically. 20, 30, 40 ships. His voice rose to a panicked buzz. Where did they all come from? We've been here the whole time, Blackstone said simply. The alien fleets were in chaos. Emergency signals flashed between ships as commanders tried to understand what was happening. Sensors that had shown empty space now revealed a human fleet that matched their combined numbers. Even more concerning, Yura said, studying her tactical displays, is the energy readings we're getting. These ships are massive. The largest human dreadnought was 3 times the size of the biggest Zenthari crystal ship. Its hull bristled with weapon ports that remained closed but clearly visible. Each gun mount looked large enough to house weapons that dwarfed anything in the alien fleets. The UFS Retribution, Blackstone said, noticing their stares. Our newest deep space combat vessel. She and her sister ships represent humanity's latest achievements in defensive technology. Defensive, Sex clicked incredulously. Those are warships. Yes, Blackstone agreed. Built to defend human space and human people. Something we've had to learn to do very well. Captain Park activated a holographic display. Earth's history is full of conflicts, wars between nations, between ideologies, between different ways of life. We've had thousands of Years to perfect the art of warfare, but you're a young species. Yura protested. You've only been in space for 2 centuries, young in space. Colonel Park corrected. Ancient in war, we brought all our accumulated knowledge with us when we reached the stars. The tactical situation had completely reversed. Minutes ago, the aliens had possessed overwhelming numerical superiority. Now they faced an equally large human fleet that had appeared from nowhere. Your cloaking technology, sex, demanded. How does it work? Trade secret, Blackstone said with a slight smile, but I can tell you it's based on principles your scientists haven't discovered yet. We're very good at making things invisible, more disturbing. Reports reached the alien commanders. The human ships weren't just hidden from sensors, they were positioned perfectly to attack both alien fleets simultaneously. Every human vessel had clear firing solutions on multiple targets. You've been planning this, Yura accused. We've been preparing for it, Blackstone corrected. There's a difference. We hoped you would choose cooperation, but we prepared for the alternative. Sex studied the tactical display with growing horror. The human fleet wasn't just large, it was positioned with mathematical precision. Every ship covered specific zones of fire. Every weapon angle was optimized. It was a formation that spoke of advanced tactical planning and superior coordination. How long have you been watching us? He asked. Long enough to learn your fleet tactics, Captain Lee replied. Long enough to study your ship designs, long enough to understand your military doctrine. The Zinthari have never been defeated, Sex said. Desperately, the Zinthari have never fought humans, Blackstone replied. Through the view screen they could see the human dreadnoughts beginning to move. Slowly, precisely. They repositioned themselves. Movement was subtle but unmistakable. The human fleet was surrounding both alien forces. This is a defensive formation, Yura observed, her tactical training recognizing the pattern. Yes, Blackstone confirmed. We're not here to attack anyone, we're here to protect ourselves. But you could attack, CX said, understanding the implication. If we had to. The simple statement carried enormous weight. The aliens had come here expecting to intimidate a primitive species with their superior numbers. Instead, they found themselves facing a force that had been watching them all along. What do you want? Yura asked. Finally, the same thing we wanted when we arrived, Blackstone said. A peaceful resolution, fair borders, mutual respect. And if we refuse? Blackstone looked out at the combined fleets facing each other across the void of space. Hundreds of ships from 3 different species, all armed and ready for battle. Then you'll learn why humanity has survived so long in a dangerous universe, he said quietly. We don't start fights, but we always finish them. The standoff continued for several tense minutes. 3 fleets hung in space around the Century Nexus station. Weapons charged, but not yet firing. The balance of power had shifted completely. Admiral Sex activated his command communications. All Zinthari vessels, charge plasma batteries to full power. Prepare for possible combat. 2. Fleet Commander Yura gave similar orders. All bioships begin combat adaptation. Prepare for threat response. And through the conference room windows, they could see the alien fleets responding. Zinthari crystal ships began to glow as their plasma weapons reached full charge. My biovessels started to change shape, growing additional armor, and extending weapon appendages. General Blackstone watched calmly. Are you sure you want to do this? Your ships are impressive, Sex admitted, but you're still outnumbered. Our combined fleets have over 500 vessels. You have fewer than 50, do we? Captain Park asked. Before either alien could respond, space around the station began to shimmer. Again, more human ships started appearing, dozens of them then. Hundreds. Impossible, Yura whispered, watching her tactical display fill with new contacts. Where are they coming from? We've had a long time to perfect our hiding techniques, Colonel Park explained. Humans are very good at concealment. When we need to be, the human fleet continued to grow. Ships materialized in empty space behind asteroids, even within the sensor shadows of alien vessels. Each new arrival was positioned with perfect tactical precision. Admiral Sex's voice rose to a panic buzz. Our sensors show nothing. How are you hiding entire fleets? Advanced metamaterials, Captain Lee said. Gravitational field manipulation, quantum signature masking. We've learned to bend the laws of physics in ways your scientists haven't imagined. The final count was staggering. Over 800 human vessels now surrounded the alien fleets. The hunters had become the hunted. This is impossible, Sex clicked frantically. No species can hide fleets this large. Humans can. Blackstone said simply, we've had to learn. Our home galaxy taught us that the universe is a dangerous place. Yura studied the tactical display with growing fear. The human ships weren't randomly placed. They formed perfect geometric patterns that would allow devastating crossfire against any target. It was a formation that required mathematical precision and flawless coordination. How long have you been planning this? She asked. We started preparing the moment we learned about your alliance, Blackstone replied. Human intelligence networks are quite extensive, but you said you wanted peace. We do want peace. That's why we're demonstrating our capabilities instead of simply attacking. If we wanted war, this conversation would never have happened. Admiral Sex activated his tactical systems. Zenthari fleet target the nearest human dreadnought. We'll show them the power of crystal plasma weapons. I wouldn't recommend that, Colonel Park said quietly. Why not? Because you don't understand what you're facing. Blackstone activated his communicator. General Blackstone to UFS Retribution, please prepare a demonstration for our guests. Non-lethal. Target only. Understood, General. Came the reply. Target selected. Single. Weapon system only. Minimal power. Setting. Through the view screen they watched the massive human dreadnought slowly rotate. Weapon ports opened along its hull like the eyes of a sleeping giant awakening. One particular turret, larger than most entire alien ships, began to track toward an empty section of space. What are you targeting? Yura asked nervously. There's an asteroid field approximately 1 light minute away, Captain Lee explained. Nothing valuable, no inhabited worlds, just rocks floating in space. The human weapon fired. There was no visible beam, no bright energy blast, just a slight distortion in space itself, like looking through water. The distortion raced outward from the human ship at the speed of light. For a moment nothing seemed to happen. Then the asteroid field simply disappeared, not exploded, not shattered, disappeared. Where there had been billions of tons of rock and metal. There was now empty space. Only sign that anything had been there was a faint glow where matter had been converted directly to energy. Both alien fleets went silent. What was that, Sex? Whispered. Focused gravitational manipulation, Blackstone explained. We compress spacetime until matter can no longer maintain cohesion. Complete molecular disintegration. Yura's gills fluttered in terror. You destroyed an entire asteroid field with one shot at 30% power, Captain Park added, from one weapon on one ship. The implications hit both alien commanders simultaneously. Their shields, their armor, their most advanced defensive systems were designed to stop energy weapons and physical projectiles. They had no protection against weapons that attacked the fundamental structure of reality itself. How many of your ships carry these weapons? Sex asked faintly. All of them, Blackstone said, though the larger ships carry multiple systems. The Retribution has 12 gravitational compression arrays, plus conventional weapons for smaller targets. Admiral Sex ran rapid calculations in his head. 800 human ships, multiple weapons per ship, each weapon capable of destroying anything in a single shot. His proud Xanthari fleet might last 30 seconds in actual combat. This changes nothing, he said desperately. We still outnumber you, do you? Colonel Park asked. More reports flooded in from both alien fleets. Human ships were appearing throughout Xanthari and Meridai space, not attacking, just there, visible now that they had chosen to reveal themselves. We have ships near every major world in your territories, Blackstone explained. We've been there for months, watching, learning, protecting you from threats you never knew existed. Protecting us, Yura demanded. Captain Lee activated a series of holographic displays. 3 weeks ago, a rogue asteroid was heading for your colony world of Meridal Prime. You never detected it because it was cloaked by an ancient automated defense system. One of our ships diverted it. More images appeared. 2 months ago, the Xanthari mining station at Kepler 7 came under attack by automated war machines left over from the hegemony of Krellel. Your people thought it was equipment failure. Our engineers neutralized the threat and made it look like a systems malfunction. The displays continued showing incident after incident, human ships secretly intervening to protect both alien civilizations from dangers they never knew existed. You've been protecting us, Sex said slowly. We protect everyone we can, Blackstone replied. It's what humans do. We don't conquer, we don't enslave, we protect. But you could conquer us, Yura said, understanding the true scope of human power. Yes, easily, but what would be the point? We'd rather have allies than subjects. We'd rather have friends than slaves. The revelation was staggering. Humanity possessed overwhelming military superiority, but chose to use it defensively. They had the power to rule the galaxy, but preferred to protect it. Instead, what do you want from us? Admiral Sex asked finally. Partnership, Blackstone said. Mutual respect, fair borders, and maybe, if you're willing, cooperation against the real threats that are coming. What real threats? General Blackstone looked out at the 3 fleets surrounding the station. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected signals from beyond the galactic rim. Something is coming toward our galaxy, something that makes our territorial disputes seem very small and unimportant. And you think we should work together against this threat. I think the galaxy will need all of its civilizations working together if we're going to survive what's coming. The conference room fell silent. Admiral Sex and Fleet Commander Yura stared at the tactical displays showing the true extent of human military power. 800 ships that had been invisible until moments ago, weapons that could disintegrate matter itself, a species that could have conquered them but chose protection instead. You said something is coming from beyond the galaxy, Yura said finally. What kind of threat? General Blackstone activated a new holographic display. It showed the galaxy from above with various colored zones marking different territorial boundaries. At the very edge beyond the rim of known space, red indicators pulsed ominously. Hour-long range sensors detected the signatures 18 months ago, he explained. Massive energy sources moving toward our galaxy at near light speed. Whatever they are, they're artificial and extremely advanced, Captain Park added. More details. The energy signatures don't match any known technology. They're using propulsion methods we can't identify, and they're coming from a direction where we know no intelligent life exists. Admiral Sex studied the display with his 4 eyes. His military training helped him understand the implications. How many contacts? At least 50 major signatures, Colonel Lee replied, each one larger than our biggest dreadnoughts, and that's just what we can detect at this distance. When will they arrive? Yura asked. Best estimates put them at the galactic rim in approximately 2 years, Blackstone said, if they maintain current speed and course. The alien commanders exchanged glances. Both species had faced external threats before, but never something from beyond the galaxy itself. Why are you telling us this? Sex asked. You could handle this threat yourself. Your ships are more powerful than ours, maybe, Blackstone admitted, but we don't know enough about what we're facing. More importantly, this galaxy belongs to all of us. We shouldn't have to defend it alone. Yura floated silently in her water sphere for several moments. You're asking us to trust you after demonstrating that you could destroy our fleets without effort. Trust has to start somewhere, Captain Park said. We chose to reveal our capabilities instead of using them. That should count for something. Admiral Sex clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. The Zinthari Empire has never served under alien command. We're not asking you to serve under us, Blackstone clarified. We're an LT Unk and GT, asking you to serve alongside us, equal partners facing a common threat. What would this partnership look like? Colonel Lee activated new displays showing proposed fleet formations and combined tactical doctrines. Zinthari crystal ships excel at long-range energy projection. Maridai bio vessels provide adaptability and tactical flexibility. Human ships bring stealth capabilities and heavy firepower. Together we could create combined fleet tactics that use each species' strength. The plans were detailed and well thought out. Human military planners had clearly studied both alien civilizations extensively. They knew exactly how Zinthari and Murdai forces could best be integrated with human tactics. You've been planning this for some time, Yura observed. We've been hoping for this for some time, Blackstone corrected. Planning would have required certainty. That you'd agree. We were never certain. Admiral Sex reviewed the tactical Proposals. Despite his pride, he had to admit the plans made sense. Human stealth technology could hide his crystal ships until they were in optimal firing positions. Maridai adaptation abilities could counter unknown enemy tactics. Human gravitational weapons could eliminate targets that conventional weapons couldn't touch. What about territorial disputes, he asked. Our original disagreements about borders. We propose a joint commission to review all territorial claims, Captain Park suggested. Representatives from all three species working together to find fair solutions with the external threat. Coming border disputes seem less important than mutual survival. Yura activated her own communication system. All my vessels stand down from combat. Readiness, return to standard patrol formation. Admiral Sex hesitated for a moment, then gave similar orders. All Zinthari ships power down weapons. Maintain defensive posture only. Around the space station, the massive fleets began to relax their battle formations. Weapons powered down, shields lowered to standard levels. The immediate threat of violence faded. There's something else, Blackstone said. Something we haven't told you yet. Both alien commanders tensed. After all the revelations, they weren't sure they could handle more surprises. We've been monitoring communications from the approaching contacts, Captain Lee explained. We can't translate their language yet, but we've detected repeated signal patterns. They appear to be coordinating their approach. Coordinating how? CX asked. They're not just randomly heading toward our galaxy, Yura realized. They're planning something specific. Exactly, and some of their signals reference locations within our galaxy. Specific star systems. They have intelligence about us. The implications were terrifying. An unknown force from beyond the galaxy was approaching with detailed knowledge of galactic civilization. It suggested preparation, planning, and possibly hostile intent. How do they know about us? Yura asked. That's what we need to find out, Blackstone replied, and that's why we need to work together. None of our civilizations have the resources to investigate this alone. Admiral Sex made a decision that would have seemed impossible hours earlier. The Zinthari Empire agrees to the proposed alliance temporarily to face this external threat. The Maridai Collective also agrees, Yura added, but we want equal representation in all command decisions. End one agreed. Blackstone said immediately, joint command structure, equal voice for all three species. They spent the next several hours working out details, communication protocols, fleet coordination procedures, intelligence sharing agreements. By the time they finished, the framework for an unprecedented alliance was in place. There's one more thing, Colonel Park said as they prepared to conclude the meeting. We'd like to invite representatives from both your species to visit Earth, to see human space, to understand who we really are, and we'd like to visit your home worlds, Captain Lee added, to learn about your cultures, to build real trust between our peoples. Admiral Sex clicked his mandibles in what might have been amusement. 6 hours ago we came here planning to divide your territory between us. Now we're planning to fight alongside you against an unknown enemy. That's what humans call diplomacy, Blackstone said with a slight smile. Through the conference room windows, they could see the three fleets beginning to form new Arrangements. Human ships moved to positions that complemented alien formations instead of threatening them. Xanthari crystal ships and Meridai biovessels adjusted their own positions to integrate with human tactics. When do we begin joint operations? Yura asked immediately. Blackstone replied, we and LT Unk and GT LL start with joint patrols near the galactic rim. Mixed crews on some ships so we can learn each other's methods, combined training exercises to develop coordinated tactics, and if this external threat proves hostile, General Blackstone looked out at the combined fleet that now filled space around the station. Hundreds of ships from 3 civilizations, no longer facing each other in hostility, but preparing to stand together against whatever was coming. Then the galaxy will learn what it means to face the combined might of free civilizations working together, he said, and whatever is coming from beyond the rim will discover that this galaxy is protected by more than just individual species. It's protected by allies who chose cooperation over conquest. The meeting ended with handshakes, ceremonial gestures of respect, and the first steps toward an alliance that none of them had imagined possible when they arrived. The human warships that had caused such terror now flew in formation with their former enemies, preparing for a greater threat that would test all of their civilizations. In the end, the terror had transformed into hope, and the galaxy would never be the